Mike, check. Justin Hunt. It's all happening. Thank you to everybody rocking with the channel. Thank you to everybody subscribe through the channel. Share the video, share the link. It's priceless. Big thank you to everyone who's donated. If you'd like to donate, hit the Cash App that's right up there, or you hit the link in the description. And big thank you to all my newest members. Virgo-ish, Think Please, Ramook, Navat, Brian, June Tiss. Word up, I like that. Roberto Hilton, Fari and Barry, Cigarette Toothbrush, Keith Williams, Andy Pandy Pie, the illest, Vice Jupiter, Burger Sauce, Benny Wise, Ethan Arbuckle, word up. Say what, say huh? That's a crazy spelling. I rock with it. I think I get it. VLC, Bonnie Allen Nadella, Literal Lils, 9-second applause. Thank you. And big thank you to everyone who's been sending me well wishes. I was down last week. Feel much better this week, and I got the AC fixed. 1-second applause. It's all happening. Now, a lot of stories today. First story up, Charlamagne the God. From The Breakfast Club, from The Daily Show now, longtime hip-hop commentator. I think he's pretty synonymous with media at this point in time. And probably another notch to that fact is now he has run into the crosshairs of President Trump. It's pretty funny too. 1-second applause. All right, so here's how it went down. Charlamagne went on the Laura Trump podcast. Laura Trump, so Donald Trump's daughter-in-law. I believe she's married to Eric's wife. And so Charlamagne went on Laura Trump's podcast, and had some critique about Trump and how the Epstein situation, how Trump continues to lie. I guess maybe lie is the best word. I don't know what to call it anymore. But they're trying to deflect and spin this narrative around Epstein because Trump has been listed in the Epstein files multiple times. Now, so if you have been paying attention to things that have been happening in the political sphere for a while, one of Trump's big campaign promises was that he was going to release the Epstein files. And now the administration is hedging its bets, and the blowback, particularly on the MAGA side, has been significant. I think, and it's interesting that this is the tipping point. This is the line that has now raised the ire of so many on that side. Out of all the things that have happened, all the things that he's done, this is the one, right? And I guess it makes sense because nobody wants to be a PDF protector, right? And Epstein is the world's most notorious PDF in history. Right. And so Charlamagne explained the impact that that's having on the Republican Party on the Laura Trump podcast. Here is a clip of what Charlamagne said.
Are going to take the Republican Party back. I think there's a political coup going on right now in the Republican Party that people aren't paying attention to.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I think that this Epstein thing is going to be a way for traditional conservatives to take their party back. I really do. I think that they know this is the issue that has gotten the base riled up. The MAGA base isn't letting this issue go. And for the first time, they know they can, probably take their party back and not piss off the MAGA base. I think they're going to do that. Traditional conservatives are going to take the Republican Party back.
So that's what Charlamagne said, right? And it's an interesting theory there. Obviously MAGA is 35% of the Republican Party at this point in time, definitely the most fervent base of the Republican Party. The Republican Party as a party really votes for wealthy people and corporations, even historically. This is a party who is terrible on the economy, most noted by the fact that every Republican president has had a recession going back to Nixon, prior to Nixon. It's just something all of them get because that's what happens when you institute certain policies, right? And so this one will be no different, especially with the passing of the big, beautiful bill, this bill that is taking away health care from people with the tariffs, et cetera. The jobs report came out, that was revised significantly for May and June, and July doesn't look that great. And as a result, Trump fired the person that was the head of the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the bean counter. He went and fired her, right? So nevertheless, this is just a historical look at what is the case when it comes to when you pass certain types of supply side economics, trickle down economics, right? And so Charlamagne is looking at this again as an opportunity for the traditional Republican Party to steal the MAGA base and bring them back because they are so fervent about this Epstein list, right? And for good reason. I think everyone should be concerned about this, regardless of which political party you're a part of or what side you fall. If you get to the point where you out here caping for PDFs to keep the economy going and protect reputations,
tomato,
that's a lot. That's a whole lot, right? So that's what happened. Charlamagne went on that. This caught a lot of news. Here's the New York Times. Trump lashes out at Charlamagne the God over Epstein comments. And here's what Trump said. Trump said, the very wonderful and talented Laura Trump, whose show is a big rating success, put racist sleaze bag Charlamagne the God, why he's allowed to use the word God when describing himself. Can anyone imagine the uproar there would be if I used that nickname? He's a low IQ individual, has no idea what words are coming out of his mouth, and knows nothing about me or what I have done. Like just ending 5 wars, that's not true, including a 31-year bloodbath between the Republic of Congo and Rwanda, where 7 million people have died, and there was no end in sight. He didn't know that. Or India and Pakistan wiping out Iran's nuclear capabilities, or closing the horrendous open border, or creating the greatest economy when prices and inflation have come way down, and where stupid and corrupt Joe Biden set the record for doing the worst job as president ever. But this dope, Charlamagne, would vote for Sleepy Joe or Kamala. Remember 1 year ago, our country was dead. Now it's the hottest country anywhere in the world, MAGA. Trump is crazy. Now, this whole idea of ending wars is so nuts, right? Well, one, he's funding a genocide, like to extreme levels. Two, on the border, Obama removed millions of people, deported millions of people. Biden deported millions of people. Trump's doing the same. But Trump is abducting people and subverting judges. And he's taking away the opportunity for asylum seekers in the United States. Trump is grabbing people from Home Depot, people who are going to their immigration hearings, right? So it's a totally different thing. Like, this is abduction that is taking place out here, which is terrible, and I don't rock with it. Now, one thing that this post shows, because this is Charlamagne's post, I thought this was actually a funny clip from The Daily Show that basically predicted what Trump was going to do. This clip came out last week. I saw this clip. I watched it when the episode dropped, because I watched The Daily Show. One second applause to The Daily Show. And I thought this was funny because Trump is about to, I personally think Trump is going to pardon Ghislaine Maxwell. He has now moved her to a minimum security prison in Texas. So, who was Epstein's co-conspirator and also a participant. I mean, the disgusting things that the victims in this situation said about her is not the type of thing that I think deserves to be in a minimum security prison, by the way. Nevertheless, The Daily Show talked about this and said Trump is going to distract from this by calling out anybody black. That's what he's going to do. So here's what the skit says.
About Epstein. I am sick of this.
I agree. How much longer can he avoid talking about it?
Obviously, it depends on how many black people he has left.
Why do black people matter?
Why do black people matter, John? What the Well, John, we still got a lot of work to do.
That's funny. 1 second applause.
No, I meant why do they matter to the Epstein story?
It's because Trump is trying to throw every black person he can think of in front of this scandal to distract us. First, he released the Martin Luther King Jr. files. Then he accused Obama of treason. And now he wants to prosecute Oprah and Beyonce. He's coming after all of our greatest black people. Who's next? Michael Jordan? Michael B. Jordan? Michael C. Jordan?
That's funny. Michael C. Jordan. 1 second applause. No, next is Charlamagne the God. Charlamagne the God is next.
Who is Michael C. Jordan?
I don't know, John, but he better watch his back. I'm scared for him. Trump is going to target every exceptional black person he can think of. We're about a week away from him saying that Urkel did 9/11. Did he do that? No, John, no, he didn't. He was nowhere near the towers that day.
That's funny. 1 second applause. Right, so Charlamagne posted that too, which is pretty funny considering the timeline of this. Now, today we got Charlamagne's Donkey of the Day response. You knew Trump was going to be Donkey of the Day, so let's hear what Charlamagne has to say.
Hi, guys. Doc here today for Monday, August 4th goes to President Donald J. Trump. Now, if you haven't heard, I was on Lara Trump's show, My View, on Fox this past weekend. Drop on the clues bombs for Lara Trump. She's been a guest on Breakfast Club before, so I had no problem showing up to her program. You know, I'm one of those silly rabbits who still believes in the First Amendment. Okay, freedom of speech. I don't have to agree with what you're saying, but we should all agree that you have the right to say it. Thankfully, Lara is a Trump who still believes in freedom of speech because her father-in-law, the 47th president of the United States of America, did not take too kindly to some things I had to say. Now, I'm going to play you a couple of parts of the conversation. Let's play when she asked me, what do I think of President Trump's second term so far? I wouldn't give it a good rating, simply because, the least of us are still being impacted the worst. Like when you look at something like, the big, beautiful bill, that's something that, I'm going to benefit from because of the tax bracket that I'm in. But, there's going to be so many people that's hurt by that bill. And, anything that, takes away Medicaid from people and is going to put people in a worse financial situation than, they were previously in, I'm not for it. I mean, where is...
Exactly. I mean, that's really where I am with it as well. Regardless of, I'm not someone who moves without empathy, just generally speaking, especially from a legislative level, because these are still our tax dollars. Like, it's one thing when people, however they want to live their lives or whatever they want to do with their own money. But when you take a population of people's money, tax dollars that everyone contributes into one way or the other, and use those tax dollars to negatively impact massive swaths of people with their own money, that's a whole nother level. I'm with Charlamagne on that. 1 second applause.
Where's the lie? Trump's big, beautiful bill is going to make the rich richer and the poor poorer, okay? Cuts all the safety net programs, the Medicaid, the food stamps, the housing assistance. Millions of people will lose health care. Groceries will still be through the roof. Rent support will be through the roof. There's no relief for people who are already hurting, okay? I know I'm not supposed to care because this bill helps the rich, all right? The bill has all these corporate loopholes and capital gain breaks that benefit the 1%, but I know how I was raised, okay? On a dirt road in Moss Corner, South Carolina, dropping the clues bombs from Moss Corner, all right? So I'm going to always have imposter syndrome when it comes to finances. My mind is always on the have-nots, and this big, beautiful bill hurts the have-nots, okay? Like I said, the rich will get richer while the poor will be forced to work more for less, okay? They'll have to work more for less support because they have work requirements for aid that make it harder for the poor to qualify for help. I know I'm not supposed to care because I'll benefit from the income taxes, but you got everyday items like gas and groceries, electricity, they'll be more expensive for everybody else. So America.
And when these tariffs really hit, if you look to the fourth quarter of this year and into 2026, it's going to be a different environment. It's going to be much louder. And then at the same time, too, it'll be interesting to see what happens with these jobs numbers because the job numbers just came out. They were on August 1st, they were revised something crazy. I mean, I think the jobs numbers were showing 150,000 growth in May and June estimates. They took off 119,000 jobs. They revised them down by 119,000 jobs. So you're looking at like 40,000 new jobs created in these past couple of months. They're calling this the worst economic situation since Trump's first term. And Trump, his economic record he got a pass on his economic record because of COVID. And I'd argue he handled that terribly as well.
Americans making low incomes will have to pay a bigger share of their income to make ends meet. And President Trump, must I remind you that you said you won the election because of one word, groceries. Do we have that?
And I went on groceries. It's a very simple word, groceries. Like almost, who uses the word? I started using the groceries. When you buy apples, when you buy bacon, when you buy eggs, they would double and triple the price over a short period of time. And I won an election based on that.
People's groceries are still too high. You have not lowered the cost. Okay, the other issue I said on My View with Lara Trump is I believe traditional conservatives are quietly staging a political coup to take their party back from MAGA. I explained this to y'all a couple of weeks ago in detail, but let's listen to what I said on My View. I think they're going to do that. Just a conspiracy theory I have. MAGA, y'all like a good conspiracy, all right? I mean, based on J.D. Vance allegedly visiting Rupert Murdoch in Montana, that was the same week Trump's letter to Epstein was published by Rupert Murdoch in the Wall Street Journal, and then about a week later, Mike Johnson shut the House down to avoid a vote on releasing the Epstein files. And then
that was crazy too. I mean, there is full-scale corruption around this Epstein list in a way that I don't know if I've seen in my lifetime. I don't know, and again, looking at what we know about Epstein's list is that it's celebrities, it's political figures on both sides of the aisle, et cetera. There's members of the British royal family are allegedly part of this entire Epstein PDF ring, and so a lot of powerful people are exposed with this. But the stuff that the Trump administration is doing is so blatant, So blatant. They closed the House so that they couldn't call a vote. Couldn't call a vote to release the Epstein documents. And now it looks like we shall see what happens. And there's a lot of political commentators who are speculating that Trump's next plan is to pardon Ghislaine Maxwell so that she could say he had nothing to do with it, blame it on the blue team and the black people, and then she gets out of prison. Now that is a level, if that happens, that's a level of disgusting that I don't know if I'd place a bet, but I hope so much. That's a level of corruption that's just way too obvious for the American people.
The Wall Street Journal came out and said Trump knew he had been in the Epstein file since May. And I just look at how the MAGA bases responded to the Epstein issue. It just feels like traditional conservatives who lost the party to Trump could use this opportunity to get it back, because the MAGA base wouldn't be upset at all if they impeached Trump and voted to remove him because he's in the Epstein files. I'm just saying, President Trump, watch your back. Okay, but
I wonder what the traditional Republican base would really look like when it comes to this, right? Because you would have a lot of centrists, I'm sure, that would still vote Republican vote with the red team because of tax breaks, essentially. I think, but more than anything else, whether people like it or not, Trump is charismatic. And I don't know who the charismatic person is on the red team that's not Trump. I don't see any charisma coming from any of those guys.
Between Elon Musk, Rupert Murdoch, and you need to watch your Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, and your VP, J.D. Vance, too. I'm just saying. Okay, but anyway, Trump didn't like any of that, so he replied with a long-ass post on Truth Social. Now, the personal insults, I don't care. He called me a sleaze bag. I looked up the definition of sleaze bag. Says it's a disgusting or despicable person. Depending on who you ask, that may apply to me. Okay, I personally prefer friendly neighborhood a-hole. Okay. He said I'm a low IQ individual. I don't know. I've never taken an IQ test. He said I have no idea what words are coming out of my mouth. Absolutely true. Okay, I've been surprising myself my whole life. Like, damn, I actually said that. Now let's get to your claims. He said I don't know anything about him ending 5 wars. Mr. President, nobody knew that because it's not true. All right, there.
Right. Exactly. 1 second applause. No one knew that because it's not true.
There's zero evidence, nothing credible whatsoever that says President Trump played any role in ending the ongoing conflict in the Eastern DRC or in Rwanda, okay? America has not brokered any major peace deal between the DRC and Rwanda during Trump's second term. And wiping out Iran's nuclear capabilities, you did pull off a significant strike, but it didn't eliminate Iran's nuclear capabilities. Saying you wiped it out is an overstatement because according to reports, no enrichment facility was destroyed and Iran's nuclear threat is still very active, and some experts argue it's more dangerous now due to a lack of international oversight and the increased beef with Israel and the USA. Now, you all...
Right, and I honestly think Iran's going to get a nuclear weapon. If I'm Iran, that's the only thing I'm focused on. Just get a nuclear weapon so we can get some counterpoint to Israel running wreckshot over everything. Israel's just bombing countries, Syria, Lebanon, Palestine, Gaza, Iran. I mean, they're just, all they do is attack their neighbors. And the whole idea that, if Iran gets a nuclear weapon, it's going to make Israel unsafe. I think Israel's doing a pretty good job. Pretty good job of showing exactly who Israel is. I honestly think if I'm Iran, that's the only thing I am focused on now. If anything, just to put a chill on the region. To quote UMG's legal documents, to chill the region, if anything.
Also claim the borders were closed. Not closed, but you have tightened immigration policies and increased enforcement. You have definitely made the border harder to cross, but saying it's closed is false and ignores everyone coming over seeking legal asylum. By the way, I want border security. I just want you to keep your promise of deporting illegals and criminals. But since Homeland Security started to work to deport more people, okay, immigrants with legal status or no criminal history are being detained and deported too. That's not right.
And Americans and legal citizens are also being deported.
Okay, your family is always in fear.
Whose family you talking about?
All right, listen, my fellow Americans, listen, my fellow Americans, we are in a strange time right now, a time we have never seen because authoritarian strategy is being used against anyone who speaks out against this administration. We saw what happened Friday. President Trump orders, the firing of labor statistic chief after data shows unemployment rates are higher. I don't know if you know President Trump, but by firing this woman, you added to the unemployment rate. But that, along with his reaction to what I said on Lara Trump, shows how authoritarians will attempt to bully people.
I don't know if you realize this, but firing this woman, you've added to the unemployment rate. That's funny. 1 second applause.
people into pushing false narratives. President Trump, do you realize the best way to get the headlines you want is to simply do a good job? Is to simply do right by all Americans? He called me a racist. I didn't mention race not one time on Laura Trump. I didn't bring up the fact that President Trump issued an executive order directing oversight of institutions like the Smithsonian to remove or suppress narratives about systemic racism in Black history. They want to reframe cultural memory to eliminate discussions of historical racial injustice. That, along with determination of diversity and civil rights programs, are considered very racist by a lot of civil rights advocates. I didn't even bring that up. Okay, I was just talking to your base, letting your base know that you haven't kept the promises you made in regards to the economy. In fact, you've made things worse. It's actually hilarious to see you upset about the high unemployment rates when you let Elon Musk take a chainsaw to the federal government and fire a bunch of government workers earlier this year. You did that, President Trump, and now you're doing exactly what the Biden administration did, trying to convince America the economy is all good when it's not. Maybe for people in a certain tax bracket, but for majority of your constituents who aren't in the 1%, it's not all good. So you can hire a new labor statistics chief to lie about the numbers. It won't stop the reality of people being unemployed. Okay, you can tell falsehoods about inflation being down. It won't stop the reality of the price of consumer goods being high because of tariffs you implemented. So listen, President Trump, don't worry about Leonard, okay? Don't worry about Charlamagne the God. I know something I said hit a nerve and rattled you a little bit, but I don't want you rattled. I want you to end wars. Okay, I want you to keep the border secure. I want you to have the economy booming. I want booming. Okay, I want all these things to be true. I am an American. I don't care who's in the White House. I want America to succeed. Okay, believe it or not, I'm rooting for you. But I need you focused. And right now, you're not focused. Okay, we need you focused on two things: the economy and Epstein. All right, I need you to keep the promises of a great economy and the promises of transparency with the Epstein files. And I don't want us as a people to be distracted. Whenever you see Trump trying to deflect from what's important, keep him focused. Ask two simple questions. What about the economy? What about the Epstein files? Go on his mentions, have pity parties all the time, and ask him those two things. Happy born day to President Barack Obama, and thank you for your attention to this matter. Please.
That's so funny. 1 second applause. Happy born day, President Barack Obama. 1 second applause. So that's what it is, right? And I think Charlamagne did a great job of redirecting this conversation to his audience to not forget what the main things are here. The economy, of course. Epstein files, man. This guy's doing all kinds of stuff to avoid, to distract, to maneuver away from what seems to be a very uncomfortable conversation for him. So let me know what you think about all of this. What do you think about Charlamagne's response? What do you think about what Trump said to Charlamagne? My name is Justin Hunt. Like, subscribe to the channel. Follow at The Company Man on everything, including The Company Man podcast, wherever you listen to podcasts. It's all happening.
Justin Hunt is here, it's all happening. Justin Hunt is here, it's all happening. The mathematical breakdown of this mighty game of rap we in. It's boom bapping. Systematical culture views us radical, it's all happening. Shaking hands and dapping it. Life through the lens of hip hop, from trip hop to yes, dog, you don't stop, you don't stop. Justin Hunt is here, it's all happening. It's all happening, yes, it's all happening. Justin Hunt is here, it's all happening. It's all happening, yes, it's all happening.